If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash-making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my posse, my people, my fellow crazies? So you longtime listeners probably noticed there's new music and a new intro to the podcast, and we're doing a major brand refresh over here at ProjectME. We're breathing new life, new energy, new excitement into all of my offerings, my content, the podcast, everything that we do. I've not done this pretty much since I started 4 years ago. And the more excited I am around what I'm putting out there and all the things I'm doing to help you, it's that energy is going to transmit to you. You're going to feel that excitement. And then in all of your stuff, you're going to transmit that excitement to your people. It has a domino effect. So I'm really excited for you guys to see everything that's to come. I also have some more good news for you. We are out of this last wild phase that has been going on in the universe. We are officially in a new full moon, and there's been a total lunar eclipse. Don't know about you, but my guess is you've had a shit show going on the last month where you've been dealing with crushing self-doubt, anxiety, even depression. Crazy things have happened that you can't explain. You've been begging the universe for a break, for God to throw you a bone. I know I've raised the white flag many times and it seemed like nothing was happening. Well, we're out of this damn phase. So whether you believe in this stuff or not, I'm going to read this to you because I truly believe there's great truth to it. So we are in the new full moon, which is Scorpio. Just so you know what this is a sign for, it's a sign for sex, death, and transformation. So it means that we're all going to get laid, then die, then come back as our spirit animal. I mean, I'm kind of here for it. So with lunar eclipses, we are encouraged to let go of whatever is no longer serving us. So eclipses can bring a sudden and swift change into our lives that doesn't necessarily mean it's comfortable. So just letting you know, there could be more unexpected changes around this time, but remember, it's all happening for the best, even if it stings. And remember, the sex, death, and transformation part, that's always an option for all of us. So if there's more things that need to fall off to the wayside in order for you to be able to manifest and call in the abundance, the relationships, the lifestyle, the things that you want in your life, sadly, it usually feels like complete chaos until it starts turning around. And I'm reminding myself as I'm saying it to all of you because it is, I don't remember the last time I've been in so much discomfort and pain than I have in 2022. I mean, it's been like an insane roller coaster, and I do believe it's happening for my greatest good, but that doesn't mean that I'm not over it. So I want you to know you're not alone. I've not had one client, anyone in the Posse membership, anyone in my mastermind. Every single person has been experiencing this stuff. And that's also why I was like, you know what? This is a perfect time for a brand refresh. Let's let go of the old energy, old behaviors, old beliefs, old branding, and welcome in the new. So I want you to do that for yourself. And I know you're like, what the hell does this have to do with this exciting 2-part series, Tiff, that I came on here to learn how to create content for any type of business that converts to cash clients and repeat customers? It has everything to do with it. I need you to come into this 2-part series this week with an open mind and with the mindset of, you know what, I am willing to do a refresh, press a restart into my brand, my content, my offerings, my attitude, my habits, the things that have been holding me back. I'm willing to do this because what I've been doing either isn't working or it's not working as well as I would hope. And so we gotta zig instead of zag, or is it the other way around? You know what I mean? And I'm focusing on this 2-part series so you have clear, actionable direction on what it is you need to do and why my content generates 6 figures a month. What is it that Tiffany does with her content? Because you might make up the story like, well, you know, she's a former TV newscaster, so she's comfortable on camera and she knows how to, you know, communicate and teach things. You could come up with a story that I have lots of friends who shout me out. I mean, I'm sure you've come up with a lot of stuff. Because I do the same thing too when I was first starting or when I'm doing something new, you know, like the book that's 70% done that's still not finished. And I'll look at people like best-selling author and they have like a gazillion reviews on Amazon. And I was like, oh my God, like, what is it they're doing? How is she finishing that book? And then I start creating stories in my head about she must be really disciplined. She must be more of a type A. She must not procrastinate like me. She must have like an amazing doting husband that takes on a lot of the financial and physical responsibilities of the household. So she doesn't have to worry about that. So her whole mind and being and energy is free to just luxuriate and write a book. I mean, I can go really, really deep with it. Who are my fellow overthinkers, overanalyzers? So I know you probably think that about me or when you see other people's content. The first thing that I want to make sure you do a refresh on in your brain is just because you see someone's content where it's like, God, everything they post, every reel, every TikTok, every whatever, it seems to do really, really well. They get thousands and thousands of people and their stuff isn't really that good. And, you know, sometimes it's okay, but like, why is that? My stuff's just as good or my stuff's even better and it doesn't get that. Yeah, there's a lot of lies going on in social media. There is a large majority of people who have bought either recently or at some point they've bought followers or engagement. There's a lot of these, so to speak, online experts that even teach this as a strategy to do it because it makes it look like you have social proof because you have all these people following and liking your stuff. This is a $1 billion industry. That's why your DMs and mine are filled with every damn week. Oh, you can get 1,000 followers for $22 and all this crap. And they prey on our egos and nothing seems to be working for you. And you want to have those followers. You want to have that engagement and you have a bad day and you break down and you do it. And a lot of people have. And then when they come to me, we have to untangle yourself from that. So no, you don't need to do that. In order to make money and help the people you want to help. It actually hurts you doing that. It might, yes, outwardly give the appearance like, oh, you know, a lot of people must find him or her really helpful or interesting. But it backfires because here's what happens. And this is my point on when you see people who look like every piece of content does well, like their reels are getting, you know, 10,000, 20,000 views. It's like, what the hell? If you've bought engagement before or followers, you can buy Instagram Reels views. You can buy TikTok followers, TikTok views, YouTube subscribers. You can buy Amazon reviews. You can buy anything. And what happens is even if someone's bought those followers a long time ago, those bots are trained basically by whoever owns that bot company. They're trained to like your stuff. So they'll have all these phantom views. So I'm not saying everyone who has great engagement is full of shit, but a large majority are getting a bump up from that. So try not to compare yourself to that. My so to speak, lowest engaging pieces of content 90% of the time are my highest cash converting content. And I say 90% because, if I do have something that's really hitting the mark with my ideal client and it happens to go like semi-viral or something, that does convert really well. Okay. Of course, that's the holy grail, is to go viral, but only going viral with a piece of content that attracts your ideal client. Otherwise, I've had still to this day, I did go viral, and it was with something silly and some stupid trend. And I ended up with tons and tons and tons of followers that we had to slowly delete over time that were never going to buy from me because it wasn't really in my niche. So just keep in mind, a lot of the content that ends up connecting with your ideal client that will end up converting, you're not going to get those instant clickbait views. I'm not saying not to have some fun clickbaity trending type content. That's fine to blend into your content strategy because it does help your engagement overall. But our egos can want to keep creating more of that because it feels good to get all those views. It feels good. Well, those are the only things people are engaging in. That must be what they like. But it's a slippery slope because then none of that ends up converting for you into clients because no one's really understanding or seeing your expertise. So we're going to teach you today. I love when I do that. We're going to teach you today, me and my 5 other personalities are going to teach you what you need to focus on, stop focusing on. And this is the new way for you to do content. This is rooted in my emotional-based sales techniques I'm very famous for. They're trademarked. I teach these to multi-billion-dollar corporations. This is at the core of all of my programs. Everything I teach you guys, for the most part, this is at core. This is what's going to set you apart. And it's also going to make creating content a whole fuck of a lot easier for you, where you're not going, I'm dreading this today. What do I even talk about? God, this is like getting really old. Well, part of why it's getting old is you're not getting results. And I understand that, but you've got to keep showing up until when it comes to content. Now, before we go into the actionable stuff, I need to say this. I don't really care. Your content would have to be so epic for you to be able to get away with having a crappy bio and a vague niche. It would have to just be incredibly epic. And even then, I don't feel it would convert unless you're trying to be like an influencer. It really wouldn't convert. The problem is a lot of you actually have pretty decent, pretty solid content where, you're really on a good start. And your audience is really not growing. And you're like, why isn't this growing? I'm putting this out there. It's because your niche statement sucks and your bio sucks. And I am specifically speaking of Instagram, but I'm also not at the same time. When I talk about social media marketing, I am not just referring to the gram. It is still the highest cash converting platform unless you already have a built up, well-established YouTube. If you had 1 million followers on Instagram and 1 million on TikTok, you would without a doubt make far more money on Instagram as of right now. But I like using the Instagram bio as a template that you can then use on your other social media channels, your website, etc., because you're limited on character space, and there is a formula that I've perfected that without a doubt works. And I'm going to be teaching you that and having that handcrafted for you in less than 48 hours in a one-of-a-kind Nail Your Niche workshop. I'm keeping it at a max of 20 people in this workshop. I have no idea if it's already sold out by the time you're hearing this. The reason I'm keeping it that small is I am wanting to make sure you're walking away with a clear and profitable niche statement and that you know exactly what needs to be in that Instagram bio of yours. Because what happens is people will consume your content, then they'll go, oh, who is this person? Oh, that was funny. Who is this? Then they go to your bio. If your bio does not grab them in less than 3 seconds, I don't care how funny, how lovely, how interesting and helpful that piece of content was, they are not going to follow you, and therefore they're not going to lean in and buy from you. They might consume your content and become content vampires, and a lot of you have those people, but they're not going to follow you. This is a hole in your business. That's why I created Nail Your Niche. It's a hole you absolutely need. Get in here. It's only $197. I'm not doing this live again, so you're going to want to take advantage of it. I'm even giving a money back guarantee if this isn't one of the best small investments you've made all year for your business. That's how confident I am in what I'm going to be teaching in there. The link to grab your seat is in the show notes, and that's projectmewithtiffany.com/nail your niche. So you can swipe up there. It's also in the link in my bio on Instagram at projectmewithtiffany. So I would not wait, even pause this episode and go and grab your spot. If you can't make that exact date and time, because obviously, there's all of you are from all over the damn world. I can't pick some magical time. So if you can't make it, that's okay. You get 7 days. I'm giving you access to the replay. So you already have that in there. But again, I don't even know if there's spots left. So go look, grab it, and then come back and listen to the rest of the show. Because this month's theme, according to the moon, and we've declared it, is permission to just scrap everything we've been doing. Because if it's not been working well, or it's just not been working, it's time for a new approach. And as long as you're open and willing, I'm going to teach you that. So excited for you guys to get into Nail Your Niche and really have you walk away, not just with more information. A lot of you have been consuming too much information. You walking away with actually getting shit done and feeling good about it. Because when you're confident about your bio and your niche and you're clear, I've never not seen a client show up very differently energetically, which in turn puts you in the abundance zone, and you end up finally attracting consistent clients online. So in this part 1 of creating content for any type of business, we need to go deeper. The issue is your content is only somewhat connecting on a surface level with people. So it would be like you shooting the shit with someone at Starbucks in line about the weather, or you're talking about the traffic, or how crazy it's gotten with all the new different drinks at Starbucks and now you don't even know what to order. Surface talk. Most of you who follow me and listen to this show fucking hate small talk. You guys aren't into it. It exhausts you. You avoid it. You avoid social situations where it's involved. You get a rash from it. Your content right now is like small talk. It's just kind of surfacey. It's those safe conversations that you know aren't going to ruffle anyone's feathers. It's politically correct, right? And that's okay to have some of that sometimes, but this is not why you've come to me. This is not what's going to convert for you. You need to go deeper. You need to connect with your ideal client at a much deeper level where she goes, wow. She or he goes, wow, this person really gets me. This stranger, this expert that I've landed on their content, whatever kind of content it is, really understands me, understands what I'm going through right now, exactly what I'm struggling with, what I'm frustrated about, what upsets me, what makes me feel discouraged, what things that I have going on in my head that I've maybe only told my therapist or I've not even told anyone. And here this random stranger on the interwebs must really have gone through it themselves or must really get it. And wow, I feel heard and seen and understood and not so alone, maybe for the first time in my life. That's the kind of content that converts, and you all have it in you. I've had a lot of clients go, well, Tiffany, I don't really I'm not a really highly emotional person. I don't really, know exactly what my client's struggling with. Well, that's a problem. We need to know, you should know what your ideal client is struggling with. But here is a hack. Whatever you are currently struggling with, whatever crazy thoughts you have in your mind, whatever things are challenging you, your ideal client is going through a version of that right now. And you have to trust that. This is why I am able to speak right to you and know what the hell's going on with you, because I know what's going on with me. I'm just at a different stage in my journey, as are you from your ideal client. Maybe you're only a year ahead of your ideal client. That's okay. Maybe you're only $2,000 ahead of them. That's okay. But at core, you understand where they're at emotionally. You can also go back, and it's not always comfortable, but it's necessary. Go back to where you were. Where were you before versus now? What did you wake up thinking? What did you think when you looked in the mirror? What did you think when you were scrolling online and wishing you could have this, that, and the other in your life and you didn't? What kind of things did you think on your worst day? What kind of things did you do on your worst day? What are some of the things that you do now when you're having a bad day? Your ideal client is struggling with that too. How does it feel when you want something so badly and it feels so out of touch and so far away and so overwhelming and like such a big task, and you don't even know where in the hell to start? And if only someone could just show me what works. Just take the guesswork out. Just tell me what in the hell I need to do, because I don't like where I'm at and I really want to be where I really want to be. And I need guidance, and please give me that guidance. What is that for your ideal client? I know one of the things for you guys is you're tired of creating and spending hours and hours and managing the content monster and feeling even dread around content and not getting those results. Therefore, I created a 2-part series plus my Nail Your Niche live workshop to solve this problem that I know you have and that you believe you have. If you didn't believe you had this problem, I probably wouldn't have created a program about it. I might create a podcast episode about it, bringing the problem to light, but I wouldn't have created a program about it, because people only buy what they believe they need. What does your ideal client believe that they need? And now what do I do with that in content? Okay, so I'm going to tell you my methodology. And if you're like, that doesn't work for me, take what you like and leave the rest, right? You have to also do what works for you. If you want a customized content plan, right, then you need to apply for my 2-month private coaching program. That's one of many things that we do in there. But if you want to take action from this episode, which I hope you do, I want you to create a running list of the wild thoughts, behaviors, and crap that goes on in your head. And I do this in my notes app because my phone is always with me. As much as I have 8,000 journals and I have a journal problem, like if you ever find me dead, I'll be buried in office supplies. I'm not joking. Like it's a serious issue. And if you have a journal always with you, then do that. But I need you to write down all your thoughts. Even when you hear thoughts of friends of yours, or you overhear people at the gym, or even a significant other that you believe, you know what, I bet my ideal client thinks that or says that too. Write it down word for word. Don't try to make it sound more eloquent. Don't try to add a bigger word in there. Don't try to make it more marketing-like. That's a major mistake you're making right now. And it's because you consume a lot of content. You read a lot of books. You read a lot of posts. And you end up taking the rawness away from it. We need it in its raw form. We are raw as F when we are in a bad way and the stuff we say to ourselves. So let me give an example in this how I was saying at the top of the show, like this has been pure wildness. It's really been the last 6 weeks for me. I mean, I don't even know. I feel like I'm being strangled. I feel like I'm suffocating. I feel like I can't catch my breath. I feel like just when I think I have a hold of something, something else happens. I've said I feel like everything I touch breaks. I'm begging God for mercy. I'm begging God, please, make some things easy for me. This is enough hard. I can't take it anymore. All those things I've written down. Then I look, so all the thoughts, so you can put it in categories if this helps you. That's about as organized as I get. But I do a category of thoughts. So I write down those thoughts, and some of them are nasty. You guys who are in, the wellness space, my beautiful healers, my medical providers, your people are like, God, I'm so fucking tired of being fat. Maybe that's what your ideal client says. Or I'll never, for my realtors, I'll never find a house in my price range. I'll never be able to have the house that I want. How am I going to be able to do this whole move? And I don't have the money to fix up my house to sell it because I need to sell the house to get the money. What am I going to do? This feels like too much for me. I don't know what I'm doing. For my healers, it could be, your ideal client is tired of waking up, feeling like it's the same old fucking thing every day. And she's saying things to herself like, I hate my life. And then she's flipping into guilt for hating her life because she has a couple beautiful children and she has a roof over her head and she knows people have it worse than her. And she must be a horrible person and an ungrateful person. And now she's beating herself up for feeling this way. You see how I did that? So all those thoughts, exactly how she's saying them and how you're saying them, I want you to write those down word for word. So put it in the thoughts category. Then I want you to do a behavior category. Could be behavior, habits, all right? You got to take a look at yourself. And this is not cute. This is what my clients and my private clients and we start laughing when I do a lot of this stuff with them. Because it's like, oh my God, I'm horrified with myself now. But I mean, we have to laugh at ourselves because we're all crazy in our own ways. We're all ridiculous. We're all filled with polarity, right? I mean, we have all sorts of things going on. So look at behavior. So for example, what kind of behaviors, limiting behaviors, weird shit do you do when you're stressed, when you're at your worst? Like my procrastination gets really high. That's one of mine. I end up buying an unnecessary amount of random things from Amazon because I can't sleep at night. I end up isolating and not wanting to burden people if I'm really struggling week after week, because it's like, if you have a couple days that are bad, that, that's one thing. But, when I'm in a depressive state like I have been and it wasn't lifting, I don't want to be a wet blanket to someone else. So I end up, not continuing to lean in on people because I don't want to bother them. Those are some of mine. What are some of yours? For yours, it could be, and mine also. By the way, I'm officially tired. No more white cheddar popcorn. I think I said that. I'm over it. Like, even if you brought me a fresh bag right now, not into it. I'm not over I thought I was over Ben and Jerry's. I'm not quite over. I'm over Ben, but not Jerry. Then I started in on the Hint of Lime tortilla chips. There's Tostitos. There's another brand, that Hint of Lime. Basically, they're fucking Doritos masked and packaged in a way that you kind of can justify that they're less chemical laden and healthier for you. But the reality is they're dusted with some kind of hint of lime coating. I'm sure that's not a natural substance. That has been my thing. And it gave me maybe to TMI, but this is why you listen to the show. The hints of lime gave me such horrendous gas. And I was like, this can't be the Hint of Lime chips. Of course, I'm not eating like 10. I'm eating probably like 40 chips. I'm like, this can't be the hint of lime chips. Like, what could be in that could cause this? And the other night, I'm like, yeah, because I've not had much of an appetite. I can get like that when I'm going through a lot of stuff. And I was like, I'm an empty stomach and I ate a half a bag of these hint of lime Tostitos. It's definitely the chips. And it was so bad. I mean, I'm alone. It's bad when you're alone and you're like, this is disgusting. And I was like, my body really does not like this. So now no more hints of lime chips. My point is, your ideal client will eat things or drink things that really aren't good for them when they're going through a hard time. It's usually stuff that you do or that you used to do, your ideal client is doing. Maybe it's beating themselves up. Maybe it's avoiding making doctor's appointments because they're afraid of what the doctor's going to say. It could be lashing out at their kids. So make a category for behaviors, habits, because when we're all feeling good, a lot of us can do a pretty good job of managing our crazy and a lot of these bad habits when we're feeling good. But sadly, feeling good is usually not a majority of the time. And I don't really care who you are. I don't know anyone who's like feeling like top of the world 70% of the time. And if you are, I absolutely need that prescription medication immediately or whatever's going on for you. So you have that behavior category. And you can even ask and poll your audience different things. Don't be afraid to ask people or start conversations with people. I mean, I wouldn't be like, hey, I noticed you just bought those hint of lime Tostitos. Do those give you really terrible gas too? I don't recommend that. I mean, it would be an entertaining conversation though. So now I want you to do a third category. And I like calling this the if only category. What are his or hers, your ideal clients, and even yours, if only statements? If you could, be granted 3 wishes from a genie, and I know you're like, I haven't asked for, gazillion dollars, but if you could ask for those 3 wishes, if only someone could show me how to blank, if only someone could teach me blank, if only someone could help me with blank, if only I knew how to blank. What are those things? I used to say all the time, I wish I could clone myself because I felt so overworked and overburdened and I was a hardcore people pleaser, codependent, and there wasn't enough of me. It never dawned on me to set a boundary or say no. That didn't even cross my mind. Instead, I was like, I need to clone myself. That might be your ideal client. Yours, for you listening, I know you're thinking, if someone could just show me how I can make this business work online, how can I get strangers and convert them into paying clients on repeat online without me killing myself? I don't want to keep hoping and guessing and trying to figure out. I want to know exactly what I need to do, what's worth my time, how can I scale my business, how can I make this happen, what is it I'm missing here? Show me what I'm missing. Show me the secret of the people who are having all this success, and I will commit to doing it if I just knew how. I know that is what you think, and so I deliver that and I speak to that. And therefore, it connects with you because I'm speaking to what you're already saying to yourself. I'm mirroring it back to you. And when we mirror things back to someone of what they're already thinking, it shows extreme empathy. So it feels really good because you're empathizing. You're saying, I understand you. I get where you're at. I might not be out there today, or I was here last week, or I was here earlier today, but I understand where you're at. And here's what I've done, or here's what I do, or here's how I navigate it. Here's how I manage it. Here's some suggestions. And when we position it in that way, it's like, wow, the person feels heard. They feel like someone actually gets their pain and what they're going through, and there's no way that doesn't feel good and get someone's attention. And then they're cracked open. Then they're more willing to listen to your advice, your expertise, and your guidance because they know you get it. I mean, there's nothing worse than someone giving you unsolicited advice, like, I didn't ask you, honey, or someone is giving you advice. I love when I'm like going on a rant about being an entrepreneur and I'm having an entrepreneur meltdown, and someone who's never owned a business is telling me, oh, well, you should hire a couple more people. Or, oh, it sounds like you need to hire more people to help you. It's like, or it sounds like you need to ask your team to do more. Or they'll say crazy shit. It's like, you've never even had a business. Oh yeah, I'll just hire some more people. Just throw out another $100,000, no bigs, and I'll just randomly find this person off the street. It's like amazing when people give advice. I recently asked a question in a mastermind I'm in, and I was just being, open and humble and willing. And I regretted doing it immediately after. And I was asked a question about, I'm doing a podcast refresh and a brand refresh, and what do they love about podcasts and shows, and what do they appreciate? Not one of these people, aside from my coach, not one of these people listen to my show. Not one of these people has a podcast. And all the advice that came back, I was like, why did I ask this? Why would I don't know what I was thinking. It was the most ridiculous advice that would cost a fortune and wasn't even relevant. And I'm only saying that because some of your content is doing that. You're missing the mark. You are sharing with someone, talking about the weather, when what they really want is to feel understood and not alone, and want help escaping a life where they have no joy and no passion, right? So you're missing the mark, not intentionally. I know you don't want to do that, or you wouldn't be listening to this episode. So how we're going to absolutely hit the mark is you keeping this running list of all these things, and now you're going to use those things as hook lines and create content around it, all different types of content. Now, part 2 on Wednesday, we're going to go deeper in the types of content. I'll be giving you examples. So it's like, how do I do this in Instagram stories? How do I do this in Facebook stories? How do I do this in TikToks and Reels? And I'm going to be going in much deeper in examples, because I know you learn really well by examples, and then you can go and implement this. Go sign up before it's sold out. It might already be sold out. The page will tell you if it's sold out. Go grab your spot and nail your niche, because you could do everything I'm teaching you here in this 2-part series, and your audience will not grow if you don't have your niche nailed and your Instagram bio optimized. It just won't. And that's one of the main reasons why your audience growth sucks. And without consistent audience growth overall, from email lists to your various social media channels, you will not be able to scale your business. This is the only time I'm doing this Nail Your Niche workshop live. I've capped it at 20 people so that you will walk away with actually getting stuff done. That's why it's called a workshop. It's not more information that you end up procrastinating and not following through on. It's actually implementation and having the damn thing done. I can't make you show up. I can't make you spend only $197, but I can tell you, you have a money back guarantee from me. If you don't feel this is the best small investment you've made in 2022 in your business, then I'll happily give you your money back. That's how confident I am about this. So swipe up, links in show notes. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/nail your niche. Take a screenshot of this episode, share it on social media, tag me at Project Me with Tiffany. I will re-share your post. If you love this episode and you love that I'm doing this series and you got a lot out of it, this will help the show grow, and it'll let me know that you want more of this content in the future. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.